so I've decided to play World of Warcraft Hardcore, the mode where if you die, you're done. I want to be a dwarf. Forever. The problem is, dwarf hunter, give me that blicky. I've never played World of Warcraft before. Every decision I make is either 200 IQ gamer move or how did this man make it through childhood? But don't worry, today's video is proudly sponsored by absolutely no one, unless this video is brought to you by Tough Jerky. Now with 30% less chance of attracting snow leopards. Anyway, welcome to my hardcore journey. Let's see how long it takes me to... No! Oh yeah, that's dapper. That is dapper. Skip. My first quest was simple. Collect tough wolf meat. Easy, right? Just kill some wolves and loot the meat. Turns out these wolves have developed an evolutionary trait where they don't actually have meat, which is inconvenient considering they are entirely made out of meat. After about 5 minutes, I realized this wasn't just a quest. It was psychological warfare. Blizzard doesn't want me to collect meat. They want to break me.
Oh! Oh my god! Oh!
Let's get rid of that. After 15 minutes of wolf genocide, I finally had the meat. And possibly a place on Peter's watch list. Leather, please. Well met! Next up, the locals wanted me to kill 3 different creatures. Small crag boars, rockjaw trogs, and their bigger brothers. The boars were easy. They showed up, they died, they dropped their stuff. Truly the tutorial enemies of the animal kingdom. Then came the burly rockjaw trogs. Stronger, scarier, and definitely not skipping leg day, but still manageable. Finally, I had to kill rockjaw trogs. Should have been easy. Except they don't exist. Not in this dimension anyway. After wandering like a lost child at Walmart, I found a single rockjaw trog. It felt less like questing and more like discovering a cryptid. Eventually, I killed them all. The boars, the burlies, the mythical rockjaw trogs, which means I am now, legally, the most dangerous thing in Dunmorrow. My next quest was delivering coffee. Not fighting monsters, not braving the wilderness, just being the fantasy equivalent of an underpaid Starbucks barista. The drink is called Scalding Morning Brew, which sounds less like coffee and more like something OSHA should probably investigate. Finally, I arrived and handed it over. No ambush, no monsters, just 10 minutes of unpaid cardio. After my shift as a fantasy Uber Eats driver, I finally learned my first real hunter skill, Serpent Sting. Now for those unfamiliar, Serpent Sting is basically arrows, but toxic. Which is perfect, because I've always wanted my gameplay to feel like Twitter. This is my first DOT spell, which means instead of just shooting things, I can shoot them, and then watch them slowly regret being alive. In all seriousness, Serpent Sting is insanely useful early on. It costs very little mana, you can cast it while kitting, and it keeps enemies bleeding while you line up your next shot. Basically, it's my entire personality now. Next up, I was sent to deal with the Frostmane whelps. Small, angry, and apparently a major threat to dwarves, despite being about as dangerous as a bad chihuahua. And honestly, I killed him quicker than Avatar 2 killed its own franchise. They went down so fast it felt less like combat and more like committing tax fraud. Technically illegal, but who's gonna stop me? And just like that, the mighty Frostmane whelp population was reduced to a minor inconvenience on Wikipedia. My next quest was to recover Growlin Whitebeard's journal, hidden deep inside a Frostmane cave, which meant danger, darkness, and accidentally making a new best friend. This is Mungie. At least, I think that's how you pronounce it. Could be Mungie, could be Moni. Honestly, I called him like 5 different names and hope one was right. But name didn't matter. What mattered is, we went into that cave together, fought through hordes of whelps, and actually survived. We found the journal, fought our way out, and just like that, our journey was over. We didn't add each other, we barely exchanged words. We just went our separate ways. Two strangers, united by lag and bad pronunciation. Never to meet again. Oh, he waved at me. What a cute little jit. The next quest was Coldridge Pass, and it felt a little bit more lonely without Mungie. But I decided to soldier on. Fighting through the tunnel, fighting through all the hordes of trogs. I was making my way through. Just when I thought my journey with Mungie was over, fate had other plans. Because at Coldridge Pass, I found him again. Against all odds, the universe reunited us. Two heroes standing side by side, fighting our way through the tunnel like Dwarven Frodo and
He's
Sam.
back!
Except with way less cardio. We braved the dangers, fought shoulder to shoulder, and made it through alive. And then, it was over. For real this time. Mungie went his way, I went mine. No friend request, no goodbye. Just silence. Frayed shoes. Some say he's still out there. Mispronounced in other players' videos. But for me, he'll always be Mungie. My first and last true WoW friend. After saying my final goodbye to Mungie, for real this time, I set off on my next journey. Travelling to Karanos. The first real hub outside of the snowy tutorial zone. And a milestone for any dwarf who somehow hasn't died yet. And it was on this walk that it hit me. Hardcore WoW feels different. Unlike retail where everyone speedruns to endgame and ignores you like you're a stray NPC, here, people actually stop. They buff you, heal you, offer advice, or just walk with you, because in hardcore, your survival helps their survival. I'll leave you to think about that while listening to the ambience of WoW on my way to the inn. By the time I reached the inn, it really felt like I was a part of a tiny, snow-covered community. Everyone working together, making sure the game is fun, even when death is just one bad pull away. So yeah, in WoW Hardcore, you don't just level up your character, you kinda level up your faith in humanity too, which is honestly feels harder than fighting drugs. At Karanos, I unlocked 2 new hunter abilities. First up, Arcane Shot, which is basically just shooting an arrow, but this time, it glows blue, and costs mana, so it feels way more magical. It's cheap, adds some much needed burst damage to my rotation, basically the Mountain Dew of hunter abilities. Bright, fast, and probably bad for your health if you overdo it. The second ability was Hunter's Mark. Think of it as a big red target painted on the enemy's forehead. It makes them take more range damage, which is great, because all I do is range damage. It also conveniently lets everyone in the area know, yep, this guy is about to get farmed. With my new arsenal in hand, I went on a quest accepting spree, and I mean spree. I grabbed everything. If an NPC so much as sneezed in my direction, I was already clicking accept. Next up, it was time to grind for quest items. Thick bear fur, chunks of boar meat, and crag boar ribs. Now bears were straightforward. They were big, hairy, and occasionally dropped the fur that literally covers their entire body. Classic Blizzard logic. And then, there were the boars. Earlier, I called them the tutorial animal of the animal kingdom. But at this stage, they're juiced up harder than a fitness influencer 2 weeks before a photo shoot. These things weren't just pigs, they were walking protein shakes. With tusks. After an unholy amount of boar genocide, I finally had all the meat and ribs I needed, which meant I could stop farming macros and start farming actual quests again. After handing in my quests, I felt unstoppable. I was leveled, geared, and full of confidence, which is exactly when the game decided to send me into the Wendigo cave. At first, it seemed fine. A little dark, a little spooky, nothing I couldn't handle. Just a few Wendigos, one at a time, easy. But then, things changed. The Wendigos started respawning, faster and faster, till it felt less like a cave, and more like the world's angriest clown car. I tried to fight, I tried to run, but hardcore doesn't care about effort, only results. And so, in the icy depths of that cave, Dapperjit met his end. Oh no. As I lay there, deleted from existence, I wondered, was Mungie still alive? Would he surpass me? Would he become the hero that I couldn't? Or was he already gone too? I'll never know.
No.
One thing's for sure. In hardcore WoW, death isn't the end of the story. It's just the start of someone else's. If you did enjoy this hardcore WoW video, please leave a like, comment down some tips, and comment if you want to see Dapperjit return to the icy plains of Dunmorrow.